time slot with something that people want to hear about. So, it gets tricky. But
if they don't want to hear about it, then they can call you and tell you something else they want to hear about.
Well, I mean, that's a good segue into if you do want to talk to us.
That's right.
You can reach out to us through our Twitter account at Damage365 Radio. You can join us on Instagram at Damage365 Radio, Facebook.com/Damage365, Skype Damage365 Radio. I mean, we're pretty much, we can be reached anywhere. If you want to hear anything, you want to ask us any questions, you want to suggest anything for the show, you want to suggest a guest, whatever you little heart's desire, we can bring it up. Let's bring up real quick big event, because that's coming up quickly. That's March 4th weekend, which for us obviously starts on the 3rd with all the pickups and airport runs and stuff like that. Big event that is from 10 to 2. Yeah, 10 to 2, right? Or was that not? Yes. That's the 10 to 2. 10 to 2, East Elmhurst / Queens, New York, at the LaGuardia Plaza Hotel on March 4th from 10 to 2.
Well, actually, I wouldn't even quote that 10 to 2 because I believe that they opened the doors a little bit earlier last year.
They open them a little early for pre-salers, which is usually like the pre-sales of the big ticket names. But anybody who's at pre-sales with Damage 365 Radio with our table, you can get in early on that line with pre-sales and avoid lines. Just walk right up to our table where our cash box is located. You'll see somebody sitting here, probably me, at the head of the table. You just bring me your PayPal receipt. We'll mark it paid, and you'll move down and get your autographs and photo ops and whatever else you got while you're there. If you need to make any additional purchases, you can do that as well, so you're not restricted. If you did not get any pre-sales because they ended the night of Valentine's Day, it doesn't matter. You can still get anything you need at the table. Just come right up to me at the head of the table. Tell me if you want signatures, photo ops, combos, additional signatures, whatever you need. Just let us know. You pay for a day, you get a ticket, you walk over to the person, and you get it taken care of. We try to keep everything organized and moving quickly because it gets crazy, especially with our location at Big Event, because we're right near the entrance of the main rooms, so our table gets a little crazy with people passing by and stopping, and especially with talent stopping because they know some of the talent we bring in, and who's talking to who and things like that. But we are bringing in indie stars. Nikki Adams of Warriors of Wrestling, Aria Condenza, she's an indie star out of New Jersey, and we are bringing in former WWE TNA star Thea Trinidad, also known as Rosita. We are bringing in WWE Hall of Famer Cowboy Bob Orton, and one half of the former tag team in WCW Doom. He was known as The Natural Butch Reed in WWE, and back in his AWA days, the Hacksaw Butch Reed. So, Butch Reed will be with us. Ron Simmons will also be there. If you want a Doom package, meaning a photo op and signature with Doom, unfortunately, we will not be doing them at Big Event. So, damn! You can get a photo of us, of Butch Reed and Doom and Ron Simmons with us, but if you bring it over to Butch Reed, it's going to be a totally different, separate purchase. If you buy it from them and bring it to us, same thing. If you want to be included in on the Doom package, you have to be at Warriors of Wrestling that night in Staten Island, New York for pre-show or intermission. Gates open at 6 o'clock, so you have to be there for that. Or at Pro Wrestling World the next morning from 12 to 2 in Allentown, Pennsylvania at the Merchant Square Mall. Pro Wrestling World store and museum. We will also be doing a Doom package. Details will be available those days at the table. We don't have any pricing info right now. Figure it's probably going to be like $40 for a photo op and the two signatures on one 8x10. So
it's extremely reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, you're joking $20 a guy. So, I mean, that's pretty much what you're paying for them separately. But if you want 2 of them, we'll probably give you we'll give you a good deal. We'll not charge you 80. We'll probably charge you like $70 or something like that. So, but don't quote me on that. Again, there's 2 promoters involved here, myself and RDP Promotions. So I don't want to speak for them. I will speak for us. I will make things work so the customer's happy. I know Richie does, but I don't want to speak for him. So that is the big event. I mean, there's a lot of stars that are going to be there, so you're definitely going to want to check it out. We got WrestleCon coming up at the end of March. That'll be March 31st to April 1st. That's WrestleMania weekend, which will be in Orlando, Florida. And that's going to be, road trip.
Woo!
We have decided we are driving from New Jersey to Florida, one shore to another. And we will have down there, we'll have Bruce Pritchard. On Saturday only from 9 to 4, we'll have Eric Bischoff. And both days, we will have Bruce Pritchard both days. Both days we'll have Saraya Knight, Amber O'Neil, April Hunter, and Rosita. So, let's calling in now. Let's get this taken care of. Mr. Dave Mooch of MZ Promotions, how you doing? Are you there?
You there?
Yeah, we're here. You can hear us?
Yeah, we're here. Gillberg, you hear us? Yeah, I hear him well. All right.
Hold
on, everybody.
So we have with us current WWE superstar, made his return to the main roster this past Raw. Gillberg, welcome to the show, and welcome back.
Hey, how you doing, man? Well, it was just a cameo. I'm not signed or anything.
Well, it doesn't matter. We'd love to see you. It was fun. It brought back some of those memories from the Attitude Era, and as soon as I saw the guys holding the sparklers, I gotta say I got excited. I was happy to see you.
Yeah, I was so happy, man, when I got the call. You know what I mean? I'm a wrestler through and through. I love WWE, and to get the call to come back up for that shot, that was cool as anything.
Okay, we're gonna zoom back to the past. Back in the day before you were Gillberg. You said you loved wrestling, and when did it all start? When you decided that when did you want to become a wrestler, and who kind of influenced you into going that way?
Oh, my whole life I watched wrestling. I mean, no matter what I was doing, it was only on Saturdays at 4 o'clock. And no matter what I was doing on Saturday, I was home in front of the TV watching wrestling with my father at Saturday at 4 o'clock. And then we moved to Florida, and we got standing reservations at the Eddie Graham Sports Arena. 2 rows back, right on the aisle, right where they came out. And I watched Dusty Rhodes, the Steve Kern, and all of them come up. And I mean, and Road Warriors, all that when they first started, and I was just intrigued with it, and I loved it. And what had happened was, we had moved back to Maryland. I moved back to Maryland, and I was living in an apartment complex, and I met Barry Hardy, my partner. And I used to go, "Come on, man, wrestling's on." He go, "Man, I ain't watching that fake shit. I ain't watching that stuff, right?" And then, for like 2 years, but then we lost contact because I got married, he got married, we moved apart, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And one day I was watching TV, and I go, "What the hell? That's Barry." And it was Barry wrestling. I was like, "What the hell is this?" So I called his mother, and she said, "Oh, yeah, he went to a live event and fell in love with it, and now he's a wrestler." I said, "Check it out." She goes, "But that's recorded. Here's his phone number. Give him a call." So I gave him a call, and he's like, "Man, I've been looking for you, dude. Yeah, man, I went to a live event, and freaking I saw Hulk Hogan and just went nuts, man. I fell in love with it and had to be a wrestler." He goes, "Where are you at, dude? I'm ready to teach you." And I went, "Well, I'm living in Glen Burnie, Pasadena." He goes, "So am I." I go, "Where at?" And he told me his address. I said, "Dude, you're 2 blocks away from me."
Yeah.
He goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, I got in my car, rode over his house. That night I started taking bumps on the concrete floor."
Oh, Jesus.
I kid you not. I learned half of my training was on about an 8x8 piece of carpet with a 8x8 piece of padding under it.
Oh man!
On a concrete floor. That's how I did. I mean, I learned hip tosses, arm drags, body slams, all that on there.
You must have been hurting.
Well, at first, yeah. I'd just say a bottle of Tylenol was my best friend.
Okay, so you worked your way up through the I guess the independent ranks, things like that. Or
well, Barry took me up to Larry Sharp because Larry Sharp, the Monster Factory, that's where Barry learned how to wrestle, and that's where he trained. And he took me up there to get polished up and to see if Larry thought I was good enough to go do jobs on TV with Barry.
Mm-hmm.
And Larry saw me and said, "Hell yeah, go ahead, Barry. Great job, man. Great job training the guy." And he took me up there, and the rest is history. I just been there ever since,
Now, when did you get the call from WWE to do this whole parody of Goldberg?
To do the parody? You mean from the beginning?
Yeah, like when did they just randomly? I mean, how did they find you? I mean, obviously they needed somebody that kind of looked similar to Goldberg. I mean, but how did they find you? Did somebody recommend you, or they just spotted you?
It didn't happen that way. What happened was I was making fun of the wrestlers on the independent.
Okay.
And I did, the Underfaker. I did Stone Old Steve Boston, and I did Gillberg. And when I got my contract, I was doing a house show with Paul Bear and Kane one night. We were backstage, and I was just talking to them, and I was telling them all about it. And I said, "Yeah," and I did Gillberg, and they were like, Gillberg, oh man, Gillberg. And then Paul Bear looks at me and goes, "Oh, Dwayne Gill, I think you've got something there." And the next day, I went into TVs, and I was in catering, and half the boys were in there, and they started going, "Gillberg, Gillberg." So I turned around and went, and everybody laughed, and I thought that was it. And went home. 3 days later, I get a call from WWE Creative. "You are now Gillberg."
Oh, man. Wow. Just from messing around and creating your own little thing, and I mean that's awesome. At least it was like something you came up with.
Yeah, it was really cool. And to be honest with you, 90% of what I did in the ring, they let me do what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Now,
I tweaked a lot.
How was that though?
They were really, really good with me on that, man. They were really kind to me on it.
Now, how was that the first time you got to walk down the ramp with Goldberg's music playing as Gillberg?
Oh, it was wild. It was wild, man. I loved it, especially the security guards. And I remember we did the whole entrance, beating on the door, "Gillberg, you're up." And I came out, and they had the guards and everything, remember, the sparklers, the whole deal.
With the fire extinguishers.
It was hilarious. And now they came up with the sparklers and that stuff, you know what I mean? And when they hit me with
with the fire extinguishers, which I'm sure must have felt lovely.
Yeah, well, it's CO2, so it's ice cold.
Yeah.
Man. Ice cold.
Oh my God! But I mean, it's just something that if people are going to take anything out of like the Attitude Era of anything that they're going to remember, that's something I think everybody is going to remember. Everybody, doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah, it's really strange. It's like a cult following, to be honest with you. It's hilarious, but I love it because I like just being happy and having fun. And believe me, man, that's one gimmick that you can go out and just have a blast with. Now, get the crowd laughing and laugh yourself. I mean, I've done stuff to where I've just cracked myself up, man, and just stood there and laughed at the crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, what about Goldberg himself? What about Bill? How did he take to this?
At first, he didn't take to it at all. Not at all. But then I saw him, what was it, about 8 months ago?
Big event.
Yeah, it's a big event. And we Dave hooked me up with going down because I said I want to